through Afghanistan, and then Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, and connect China. Though it is not a directly a link with Russia, but still it has potential that through Kyrgyzstan Republic we can connect Kyrgyz and Kazakhstan, and then move toward Russia through this. So it is more feasible because of its less logistics cost. It is if we compare with all other three via routes, it is less distant, approximately around 4,000 kilometers. So this also create some sort of efficiency and create in-us. But one important thing is about the security concerns that must be addressed if we need to operationalize this Karek Corridor 5. Let's come toward the other corridor transit agreement that was done in 1990s and operationalized in 2004. That is actually quadrilateral traffic in transit agreement between Pakistan, China, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. It excludes Afghanistan because of its security concerns. It was implemented, enforced, but still doesn't operationalize at it as it has to be. So it has a lot of potential. It can complement Karek and international north-south transit corridor and connectivity routes, because Pakistan and China both are part of TRI that is based on promotion of across-border trade. So it has potential, but doesn't operationalize as it has to be. Afterward, we have the TRI system, and that is actually not a corridor. It is the whole system that can be implemented through different corridors, whether we are talking about corridor Karek 5, we are talking about TTS, or other some regional corridors. This is actually international cargo movement across borders. It actually simplifies the trade. Under this, custom delays and time delays, custom duties, and such hindrances can be adjusted because of the sealing of transportation containers at first place from where they are actually exported to the other countries. So this is some sort of the place where we can find out efficiency, and we can like reduce custom duties and check and balances over them. Because of integration, efficiency, and smoothly passage between the countries across the borders. Pakistan have developed a lot in the bilateral trade, as in 2021 to 2022 we have around 6 million to 700 million. But afterwards, if we compare it with 2023 to 2024, we have reached more than 1 billion bilateral trade of merchandise. But still, we have a lot of problems, just like Pakistan's trade potential is not touching as it has to be. Pakistan side is exports are very low as compared to Russia. So it is some sort of one-way trade. That has to be boosted, and there are a lot of problems which I will discuss later, and the challenges and hindrances that must be addressed to promote the Pakistani side. If we talk about the challenges, first let's talk about the banking restrictions. As we know that in public to public between Pakistan and Russia, and the banking system lacks because of the installation of the card uses that has not been operationalized in Russia, even in case of public. So when we talk about the major business between B2B, so it requires proper banking mechanism that lacks between both these countries. Then the next one is about Western sanctions. Though it is considered as a challenge for in case of Pakistan, but still it is the opportunity that has created the relation and promoted the Eurasian concept and connectivity. Then come toward the trade imbalance that I already mentioned. Then the limited logistics, we have different corridors, transit corridors and transportation routes, but still does not operationalize as they have to be. Then weak institutional coordination in mostly in case of Pakistan, bureaucratic hurdles, they actually stop and the clear and smooth passage. Then comes toward the language barrier. This is the most identified while we were interviewing different businessmen.
Gentle reminder, please, you have only 1 minute remaining. Gentle reminder, you have only 1 minute remaining, please.
Okay. So language barrier is also the major challenge that must be addressed between Pakistan and China, as under CPEC, China and Pakistan are doing for the promotion of Chinese language. So Russian language or Urdu language must be promoted across the borders for the better and smooth passage of trade. Then limited private sector engagement, that is also the reason, because of these all the other challenges cause these limited private sector engagement. And then come toward the alternative payment methods. Glexify is Pakistan originated organization, and when we were conducting interview, the director of this organization actually referred that they are working on the development of such cards and develop a banking system that can boost Pakistan and Russia trade. Then TIP payment system must be promoted at Pakistan joined in 2018. So must be other countries also included, and that will promote the smoothly and efficient trade. Then local currency settlements, digital financial cooperation, and bilateral banking agreements must be promoted. Pakistan and Russia must focus on utilizing SEO, CAREC, CPAC, BRI, International North-South Transit Corridor, European, Eurasian, Economic Union must be operationalized between the bilateral trade promotion. As we have a lot of areas like energy cooperation and other investment areas. Lastly, I would like to conclude my presentation with some recommendations that CAREC corridor must be developed, and the only hurdle that right now is about Afghanistan security concern. That must be addressed on time between with the efforts of all the regional countries, as it is beneficial for all of them. Then expand TRI in modern logistics, strengthen, Glexify the project which they are actually working on, and TIP systems, reduce US dollar dependence, and focus on the local currency swap. And then comes toward improve institutional cooperation and avoid bureaucratic hurdles, then address language barrier as well, and diversify trade beyond energy. That will promote Pakistan domestic and industries, and increase private sector partnership and promote high-level political dialogue. So that's the holistic image of which I was supposed to deliver in just this short period of time. So in conclusion, we refer that Pakistan and Russia must work on operationalization of these transportation and transport corridors, and use TRI system and other such mechanism which I have highlighted in recommendation for the betterment of the trade, bilateral trade and bilateral relation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your insightful presentation and sharing your valuable insight and research. No doubt, TRI system, CAREC Corridor 5, QTTA are really important and significant for Pakistan and Russian trade. I would like to invite Dr. Adil Irfan for his valuable insight over your presentation, please. Sir, you are not audible, please.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, you are not. Thank you.
Hello. Now, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, and good afternoon. So it is a pleasure to participate as a discussant in the Russia-Pakistan Student Conference titled Bridging Ideas, Building Pathways, and Shaping the Future. And I believe that this conference provides a valuable platform for young scholars to engage in meaningful dialogue on emerging issues in international relations. Coming on to the presentation, first of all, I would like to say that please complete your presentation within the stipulated time. And I would like to begin by congratulating the author for presenting a timely and policy-relevant paper on political aspects of international trade between Russia and Pakistan. So the study addresses an increasingly important issue as both countries seek to strengthen economic cooperation within an evolving multipolar international order. And a notable strength of this paper is its recognition that trade is not driven solely by economic factor, but it is fundamentally influenced by geopolitical realities like diplomatic engagements and regional security dynamics. Moreover, a few areas could further strengthen this paper. First, the analysis would benefit from a clearer theoretical foundation incorporating like perspectives such as liberal institutionalism, complex interdependence, or geoeconomics, would provide greater analytical coherence and explain the underlying motivation shaping Pakistan-Russia economic engagement. And secondly, the paper would be more impressive, more persuasive if supported by recent empirical evidence, including like bilateral trade, statistics, investment flows, sectoral trade opportunities, or any kind of longitudinal data demonstrating the impact of political development on economic relations. And overall, this is a valuable contribution to the growing literature on Pakistan-Russia relation, with a stronger theoretical framework, more robust empirical evidence, and clearer actionable policy recommendations. The paper has the potential to make a significant contribution to debate on Eurasian connectivity, geoeconomic, and regional economic diplomacy. So I commend the author and look forward to seeing this important research further develop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable comments. Any question from the audience, please? Okay, we should proceed now. Without wasting any time, our presentation is also related to trade and political aspect between Russia and Pakistan. The topic is the influence of political factor on international trade between Russia and Pakistan, supervised by Dr. Oleg from Financial University, Russian Federation. Team of Dr. Oleg. Are you here, please?
Коллеги из финансового университета не подскажете? Вот, доктор Олег подключился, нет?
I guess when he's not here, we should proceed to next one.
I believe that.
So from.
Do you hear me?
Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all Russian colleagues. I believe that Oleg Gennadievich right now is not connected, but as he is our supervisor, I would like to start it and then continue with my colleagues.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I believe that my colleagues are all here, but due to some communication problems, I believe that our supervisor, Mr. Oleg Gennadievich, he's not connected yet. So at first, I would like to start it on behalf of my part. So good morning to my Russian colleagues and assalamu alaikum to all Pakistani colleagues, distinguished guests, fellow researchers, and organizers, of course. Thank you very much for opportunity to present our research on influence of political factors on the evolving Russia-Pakistan relationship. Well, this research highlights how political decisions, leadership, initiatives, and changing global dynamics have shaped ties from historical complexities to today's growing practical cooperation, with emphasis on trade and energy. So, of course, it was already mentioned about the historical backgrounds, but I would like to briefly call it, and for at first introduction, then a really brief historical situation which were between Soviet Union and Pakistan. At first, the introduction of this research on behalf of my part, the political factors which have played a central and decisive role in Russia-Pakistan relations from Cold War era divergences to recent convergence around a shared interest in energy, security, trade diversification, and regional connectivity. Politics has consistently influenced the depth and direction of bilateral engagement. In a multipolar world, both countries or leveraging political wealth to build a pragmatic partnership based on mutual economic benefits and strategic complementarity. This research examines the historical background shaped by political realities and the modern trade structure emerging from renewed political alignments. Well, about the history of relationship between two countries, the relationship has roots in 19th century Great Game, a period of political and strategic rivalry between the British and Russian empires in Central Asia, of course, that has left a legacy of caution. After Pakistan's independence in 1947, Cold War political alignments created significant distance. Pakistan's facing economic and security challenges joined Western alliances such as SATO and SATO, while the Soviet Union strengthened ties with India. Despite this, formal diplomatic relations were established in 1948. So a notable improvement occurred in 1970s under Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, when political understanding facilitated Soviet technical and financial support for important national projects, including the Pakistan steel mills in Karachi and Godo thermal power station, and early oil and gas exploration through OGDCL. These initiatives represented a high point of constructive cooperation. The 1979 Soviet intervention in Afghanistan marked a difficult phase, positioning Pakistan as a frontline state and limiting bilateral engagement following the Soviet withdrawal in 1989 and dissolution of USSR in 1991. Both countries turned inwards to address their respective internal challenges, resulting in minimal trade and political contact throughout the 1990s. So, how it changed? Political re-engagement gains momentum in the early 2000s. President Pervez Musharraf's 2003 visit to Moscow served as a turning point, leading to the establishment of a joint commission on trade, science, and technology. Since 2014, broader political shifts, Russia's enhanced focus on Asia and Global South, combined with Pakistan's pursuit of diversified partnership amid its own economic and energy needs, have created strong incentives for closer cooperation. Shared membership in Shanghai Cooperation Organization provided an important multilateral platform for dialogue and trust building, of course. Political factors have directly influenced the structure and growth of contemporary trade relations. Energy cooperation has become the cornerstone driven by high-level political commitment. In 2015, North-South gas pipeline agreement, later renamed the Pakistan Stream gas pipeline, and its subsequent revision, including 74% Pakistani ownership, demonstrates sustained efforts to advance the strategic project despite technical and financial complexities. Real momentum accelerated in 2023 with Pakistan's important imports of Russian crude oil alongside supplies of wheat, legumes, fertilizers, and LPG, of course. These exchanges provided timely support during Pakistan's economic challenges and propelled bilateral trade to a record of $1.81 billion in 2023 to 2024. While Russian exports dominate Pakistan's exports of textile, rice, leather goods, and other products, which are expanding, and both sides are actively working to address the trade imbalance through political and commercial dialogues. Well, I also have to mention from the research that we have done, political initiatives are also advancing broader connectivity. Plans to link Russian and Central Asian transport routes with Pakistan's warm water ports of Karachi and Gwadar, potential integration with the international North-South transport corridor, and ongoing discussion on preferential trade agreement with the Eurasian Economic Union reflects a shared strategic vision. These efforts complements Pakistan's China-Pakistan economic corridor and Russia's great Eurasian partnership, promising in his regional integration and economic alliances. Well, Pakistan's domestic political environments, including government transitions, civil military dynamics, and policy continuity, continues to shape the implementation of external partnership. At the same time, regional political factors such as security consideration and broader dynamics influences trade flows. Both countries recognize that consistent political support, improved logistic, and a stronger private sector linkage are essential for realizing the full potential of this relationship. But the crystal clear information which already mentioned can result that political factors have been the key driven in transforming Russia-Pakistan ties. From historical challenges to the current focus on practical cooperation in trade, energy, and connectivity sustains political will offers a relationship represents a realistic model of constructive engagement based on shared interests and complementary strengths. Thank you for your attention. I would like to pass it to my colleague. So thank you very much.
Yes, political factors in Pakistan and Russia. In Russia, that we are a presidential republic with a strong central government. This allows for quick decision-making on major foreign economic projects, oil and gas contracts, pipeline construction, and modernization of industrial facilities. We have sanctions from the United States and the EU. Russian foreign policy is focusing on Asian direction, so trade diversification with by using Pakistan is a major opportunity for Russia. Pakistan political system and its influence. Pakistan is a parliamentary republic where the army plays a significant role. Due to frequent government changes and political crises, economic agreements may be renegotiated or delayed. At the same time, the main political forces have a common interest: reduce dependence on imported energy at high prices to attract external investments in energy, metallurgy, and infrastructure. My next colleague.
So on the next, we show how politics and economics intersect. Political decisions directly determine trade roles. Sanctions accelerate the formation of new partnership. The security level affects investment attractiveness and logistic reliability. And stable governance is a basic condition for long-term trade growth, of course. So despite all difficulties, the interest in cooperation is high. Our common growth points are in energy industry, in agricultural, medical industries also, and transport corridors, as we know, the Pakistan Stream gas pipeline. So if current trends continue, we forecast the following. Firstly, trade turnover will continue to grow, but will remain unstable. Energy cooperation will expand, especially in hydrocarbon supplies and joint infrastructure projects. Also, risk related to payment and sanctions will remain high, and infrastructure projects, including transport corridors, for example, due to different political obstacles, may face delays. So, based on our analysis, we offer the following recommendations. Diversify the trade structure, so move away from commodity dependence over high-touch goods, medical equipment, pharmaceuticals, and joint production products. Also expand settlements in national currencies. We're talking about the ruble and Pakistani rupee, and they should play a great role in mutual settlements. Also create a new transport corridors to accelerate deliveries and harmonize regulatory standards, unify certification, sanitary norms, and custom procedures. Strengthen the legal framework for business cooperation. We are talking about the concluding intergovernmental agreements that protect investors from political risks and reduce dependence on politically sensitive channels to diversify suppliers. And in conclusion, I want to emphasize the main point that political factors have a strong influence on trade between Russia and Pakistan. However, despite all the challenges, our countries have pronounced complementary advantages. The implementation of the measures we have proposed to reduce risk will allow us to firstly increase the stable on and increase trade turnover, bring cooperation on a new level. So Thank you for attention.
Thank you for your valuable insight. You have highlighted the importance of political aspect and factor in trade, which are really important. And you also discuss about the Pakistan as the opportunity for Russia, and which we also believe that it's a high time between Pakistan and Russia to have a good trade, not only for the region, but for the sake of stability within the region as well. So for that, I would like to invite Dr. Adil Irfan. Thank you, sir, again for your joining. And please share your valuable insight about the presentation about political aspect between in trade between Russia and Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sudas. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the authors under the supervision of Dr. Oleg, and the title of the paper is The Influence of Political Factors on International Trade Between Russia and Pakistan. The paper makes a valuable contribution by examining the evolution of Pakistan-Russia relations through interconnected dimensions of trade, energy, connectivity, and socio-cultural cooperation. And it appropriately highlights the growing significance of Eurasia as an emerging geopolitical and geoeconomic space where regional collaboration is becoming increasingly important. One of the key strengths of the paper is its historical perspective. By tracing Pakistan-Russia relations from the Cold War and period to the present, the author effectively demonstrates the transition from ideological rivalry to pragmatic partnership. And equally commendable is the multi-dimensional approach, which goes beyond traditional political and security issues to include trade, energy cooperation, educational exchange, and cultural diplomacy, people-to-people engagement, whatsoever. But the paper could also engage more critically with the broader geopolitical environment, particularly the implication of Russia-Ukraine conflict, Western sanctions, shifting energy market, development in Central Asia and Afghanistan, and like strategic interest of India and the United States in the region, and especially impacts on Pakistan and Russia relation. So finally, the conclusion would be strengthened by offering more concrete policy recommendations, identifying priority sectors for cooperation such as energy, agriculture, technology, and digital diplomacy. Overall, this is a well-conceived and relevant study, a richer empirical evidence, and more focused policy recommendation, and it has the potential to make a significant contribution to the literature on regional cooperation, Eurasian connectivity, and international political economy. And so I congratulate the author and look forward to seeing this important research, and they will further develop it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Indeed, it will enhance the paper quality and the research impact over the relation between Russia and Pakistan. Thank you, sir, once again. For my side, as we both groups were working on the same direction, so the aspect that you are mentioning, the North-South corridor, the other economic zones, basically we need to find out the way of connectivity between Russia and Pakistan, which is important because only trade can be flourished when we have smooth connectivity routes. So we as researchers, we have to find out how we can facilitate our nations to have that establishment of routes. Thank you so much once again for Dr. Oleg team. Now coming towards our next presentation from cultural diplomacy. The topic of presentation is cultural diplomacy as the mean of maintaining national sovereignty, a comparative study between Russia and Pakistan. The supervisor is Dr. Gule Aisha Bhatti from NUST. I hope her team is also in the session. Please continue. The floor is yours.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, and Dobre Dien to everyone from Russia. So my name is Saif. I have my colleague Adnan. First, he will present the presentation, and onwards we will present accordingly. I am sharing the presentation right now, and Adnan, you can speak accordingly. Thanks.
Thank you, Chef. Yes, please.
Can you see my presentation, Adnan?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
You can make it a full slide, full screen. So.
Adnan, can you hear me, please?
Yes, please. Yes, I can start. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you to our respected supervisor, Dr. Aisha, and Russian Pakistan student fellows. Thank you for this opportunity. The topic we are going to present is basically a culture diplomacy as a means of maintaining national sovereignty, a comparative study of Russian Pakistan. If you look into the background, so keeping the 21st century, the dynamics are quite changing. Sovereignty is increasingly maintained through culture attraction, not only military and economic power. Pakistan diversified foreign
Adnan,
policy.
please, can you please check your voice?
I'm audible now?
A little bit, yes.
Let me check again. It's fine now? I'm audible, Professor?
Yes, you are. Please continue.
Pakistan diversifies foreign policy amid shifting regional alignments. Russia reorients culture diplomacy after Western sanctions. If we see into the bilateral ties that deepens after Pakistan 2017 SU association and now extending into academic and cultural cooperation, as this conference itself is a testament of this. The problem statement is basically the comparative culture diplomacy research on Russia and Pakistan remains quite scarce. Bilateral studies emphasize trade, energy, and security. The culture dimension is under-theorized and under-reported and under-discussed. Sovereignty literature privileges legal territorial use, overlooking constructivist, discourse-based conceptions. The question objectives we are looking to: how do Russia and Pakistan conceptualize culture diplomacy in relation to national sovereignty? What instruments like education, media, arts, language does each set employ, and how do they compare? How does the bilateral culture academic framework reinforce sovereignty amid a multipolar order? And what are the challenges, constraints that hinder the effectiveness of culture diplomacy between the two countries? Objectives are how to examine how both states conceptualize culture diplomacy and sovereignty, identify and compare their principal culture diplomacy instruments, assess the bilateral framework role in reinforcing sovereignty, identify the structural challenges limiting culture diplomacy effectiveness. The significance and the scope of this study is to extend soft power theory and constructivist sovereignty scholarship to an under-examine Russia-Pakistan comparison. The policy implication is to inform the Pakistan-Russia academic collaboration, initiative future exchange and public diplomacy design. The regional impact will be like documents how culture mechanisms complement the trade and security dimension of bilateral ties. The scope will be to compare two case design, Russia and Pakistan, temporal focus after 2017 Pakistan SCO affiliation, channels covered education, media, arts, heritage languages, bilateral focuses, not a full multi-layer analysis. A hard power and defense cooperation excluded except as content. Relies on documentaries, secondary sources, not a large-scale survey like quantitative. The methodology we are looking for is basically a qualitative, a case study, a design Comparative case study, most different systems, logic across two cases. The framework is like a nice soft power theory, constructionist sovereignty, and the data sources will be like a policy statement, MOUs, national security policies, academic literature, and interviews. And analysis is there will be a qualitative, thematic, and discourse analysis, then cross-case comparison. Thank you. This is from my side. Safe, you can proceed with your own. Thank you.
Thanks, Adnan, for the presentation. I will move forward with our presentation. If someone has some questions, they are welcome. So now I will share the second presentation of our group. So Ishfaq Hussain, are you there? Ishfaq Hussain? Yeah. So.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Ishfaq Hussain from People's Friendship University of Russia. I'm part of Group 3 together with Adnan, Saif, Nida, and Aksa. Our supervisor is Dr. Gule Aisha Bhatti. Our topic is cultural diplomacy as a means of maintaining national sovereignty, a comparative study of Russia and Pakistan in the 21st century. In the next few slides, I will present the theoretical part of our research, the ideas and thinkers.
I kindly request to observe the time limit for smooth running of conference. Thank you.
Okay. The ideas and thinkers we use to build our framework. Now let's start with the theory. Culture has always been used by states to gain influence, but it became a real foreign policy tool after World War II, and especially during the Cold War, when the United States and Soviet Union competed for influence through culture, not just weapons. This is where Joseph Nye's idea of soft power comes in. Soft power means influencing others through attraction, not force, through culture, values, and having a good reputation. Closely related is public diplomacy. Now we see the Millicent views. Millicent says modern public diplomacy is not one-way propaganda. It's a dialogue, listening and building relationships. And Nicholas Gull breaks this into 5 functions: listening, advocacy, cultural diplomacy, exchange programs, and international broadcasting. Cultural diplomacy is one important part of this bigger picture. Next. Now let's talk about sovereignty. Traditionally, sovereignty just meant control over territory. This comes from the Peace of Westphalia, but today globalization and digital media are challenging this old idea. That's why we talk about cultural sovereignty, the ability of a country to protect and share its own identity without being dominated by other cultures. To explain why identity matters so much, we use Alexander Wendt's constructivism. His famous line is, "Anarchy is what states make of it." This means international politics is not fixed by power alone. It is shaped by ideas, history, and identity. For our two countries, this is very relevant. Russia presents itself as a civilizational power, and Pakistan presents itself through its post-colonial identity. Both use cultural diplomacy to defend how they are seen by the world. Next.
Thank you, Hussain.
Last slide. Finally, we bring all these theories together into one framework. We say cultural diplomacy has 3 functions. Firstly, identity assertion. States use culture to build and project their national identity to build the world. Second, influence without coercion. This comes from Joseph Nye using attraction instead of force. Third, narrative defense, protecting your own story from being overwhelmed by other, more powerful countries' narratives. So in short, cultural sovereignty is not only about land anymore, it is also about who controls the story and the image of a nation. This theoretical framework is the lens of our group uses in the next chapters to compare how Russia and Pakistan actually practice cultural diplomacy. Thank you, and I will now hand over to my teammate, Nida Tayo.
Nida, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, only 30
can hear you.
seconds.
Thank you so much.
Conclude your presentation.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Nida,
Okay.
quick.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and good evening to all. And my topic is about the literature review on a global perspective on cultural diplomacy. As we know that cultural diplomacy is used by different states as a tool to promote their culture and soft image. So basically, there are the two theories which are presented by the Joseph Nye, who talk about the soft power based on the culture, political values, and the foreign policy. And the other theory was presented by the Clark, and Clark actually critique the nice linear transmission model, who talk about that foreign audiences actively interpret the cultural messages as the government cannot fully control on how their culture is interpreted. So the key point is that cultural diplomacy is not only about attracting others, it is also about the contested spaces where meanings are negotiated by different audiences across the world. And the second slide is about the cultural diplomacy and national sovereignty. So the relationship between cultural diplomacy and national sovereignty is about the traditional views and the contemporary views. So mostly the government use the traditional views, as we know that they use the cultural resources to promote their national identity and for their advance their foreign policies and protect their national sovereignty. So in the contemporary view, government had limited power over the sovereignty. So cultural representation and the cultural representation. So the foreign audiences interpreted the cultural differently, and the meanings are socially constructed. And the non-state actors such as the media, NGOs, and the universities, artists also play their role in shaping the perception. And the other thing is that if we talk about the cultural diplomacy as a means of national sovereignty in Pakistan and Russia. So Russia use assertive cultural diplomacy, whereas Pakistan use defensive cultural diplomacy. As we know that after the collapse of Soviet Russia revived cultural diplomacy through education, culture exchange, and national branding, and the human cooperation, like the Rustim is, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, and whereas Pakistan was under the military rule, so the image of Pakistan is not that much good. So that's why Pakistan, though rich in its culture, but its cultural diplomacy and the culture is overshadowed by the reliance on hard power. And my last slide is about the cultural gaps. So existing culture mainly focus on the soft power outcomes, public diplomacy, national branding, and image building. But what is missing is data how cultural diplomacy protects the national sovereignty. Comparative evidences are from the different states models are also missing. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you
Dr.
for
Sundar,
your
can you please tell how much time we have for our group so that we can manage accordingly?
You have your time is no. You have taken the extra time, please. If you want to say only 30 seconds, please.
I just would like to conclude the discussion, what we have presented in the paper. So the basically thing is that my colleagues has already described about the cultural diplomacy, and they have already mentioned the theories. So the main thing is that Russia has everything in place. Pakistan do have a good culture, but the thing is that there is no clear structure. There are we do have hospitality, we do have world famous dramas, we do have different kind of cultures, but the thing is that Pakistan has a stronger cultural assets, but the Russian has stronger institutions. So this is the core issue that we are facing, that there is a need of a stronger institution that will collaborate with the Russian side and Pakistani side and make decisions accordingly. So thank you very much for your time, and if you even have a question, that would be appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your valuable presentation. It indeed a really good one. Now I would like to invite Dr. Adil Irfan again for your insight over the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sundar. First of all, let me, dear researcher, when you are presenting, keep an eye on stopwatch, because when you are taking extra time, you are taking the time of next presentation. So please be quick, and be brief, and be precise. So the topic of this presentation is cultural diplomacy as a means of maintaining national sovereignty, a comparative study of Russia, Pakistan in 21st century. Uh, the study addresses a significant aspect of international relation, like cultural diplomacy nowadays is used as a strategic instrument for safeguarding national sovereignty in the era of globalization, geopolitical competition, and information warfare. And the comparative analysis of Russia and Pakistan offers valuable insights into how states with different historical experiences and institutional capacities employ culture to advance foreign policy objectives and strengthen their national identity. So one of the strengths of this paper is its interdisciplinary approach, drawing upon soft power theory, public diplomacy, using Alexander Van der theory, constructivism to explain the relationship between culture, identity, and international influence. And the comparison between Russia institutionalized model of cultural diplomacy and Pakistan's heritage-based approach provides an informative uh, framework for understanding different pathways to enhance strategic influence. There are few areas which you could further strengthen in this paper. First, the concept of national sovereignty requires greater conceptual clarity by explaining the mechanism through which cultural diplomacy enhance sovereign capacity, whether through domestic legitimacy, international recognition, strategic influence, or resilience against pressure. Second, the comparative analysis would benefit from stronger empirical support through specific case studies like measurable outcomes and evidence demonstrating the effectiveness of cultural diplomacy initiative in both countries. Overall, this is a very valuable and insightful contribution to the literature on soft power and comparative foreign policy, like with greater conceptual precision, richer empirical evidence. The paper has the potential to make a significant scholarly and policy contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adil Irfan, for your comments over the presentation. Without wasting any time, as we are behind the time, and I highly encourage and request all the presenter, please observe your limited time and allocated time. So the next presentation is also about the cultural diplomacy as the means of maintaining national sovereignty, a comparative study of Russia and Pakistan, but it is from the Russian side. The supervisor is Dr. Veronica from Financial University Russian Federation. Dr. Veronica, team, please proceed. The floor is yours.
Yeah, we're here.
Thank you.
Yes. 1 minute, please. Do you see?
Yes.
Yeah, do you hear me?
You are audible.
Yeah. The general information about our theme is about cultural diplomacy as a means of preserving national sovereignty, as it was said before, and the object of our study is the cultural diplomacy as an instrument of the foreign policy in the States in the conditions of the transformation of the international order in the 21st century. The subject of our study is to use the cultural diplomacy by Russia and Pakistan to maintain and strengthen the national sovereignty, including institutional mechanisms, practical projects, and bilateral cooperation under conditions of external pressure. The aim of our study is to identify similarities and differences in the use of the cultural diplomacy by Russia and Pakistan. The research objectives is to determine the conceptual and legal foundations of cultural diplomacy and cultural sovereignty of Russian Pakistani contexts. For example, develop a theoretical framework that critically adapts Western model of soft power. Also to analyze the institutional mechanisms and specific projects of cultural diplomacy implemented independently by Russia and Pakistan, assess their effectiveness and countering the Western cultural hegemony. Also, we need to study the role and potential of bilateral Russian-Pakistani cultural cooperation in strengthening the sovereignty of both states. The methodology was based on two methods. At first, criticism and adaptation of Joseph Nye concept of soft power. It is the identification of the Western-centric bias of the model, integration of the concept of cultural sovereignty as a defensive tool for protecting identity, and the concept of cultural sovereignty, that means the right of the state and society to independently determine cultural development priorities, protect the traditional values, and resist external ideological influence. And the method that we use is the case study, most different systems, document analysis from both sides, and expert and media analysis. As the relevance, we can say that in the conditions of transformation of international relations, classical forms of colonialisms and ideological pressures are giving way to cultural and informational dominance. We also can say that cultural diplomacy is transforming from an instrument of soft power into a strategic mechanism to protect national sovereignty. The key challenge of our work was cultural conditionality as an instrument of Western foreign policy, sanction regimes, and control of narratives through the dominance of Western media, educational and cultural institutions. The practical significance of our study lies in the development of recommendations for strengthening the cultural sovereignty of Russia and Pakistan, as well as the information of a model of bilateral cooperation of the both countries. Key findings of our works. At first, an analysis of the conceptual foundation of cultural diplomacy and cultural sovereignty that was being conducted. Also, the legislative and political framework of Russia has been studied. For example, concept of humanitarian policy, fundamentals of policy for the protection of the international values, and others. The legislative framework of Russia and Pakistan was analyzed. Antiquities Act, 18th Amendment to the Constitution, and other. Also, we made a bilateral Russian-Pakistani cultural cooperation. For example, we analyzed agreements, projects, educational exchanges, and forums. And also, we made a theoretical framework that adapts the concept of soft power to the task of protecting sovereignty. As a conclusion of our work, we can say that cultural diplomacy in Russia and Pakistan has been transformed from an instrument of soft power into a strategic mechanism for protecting sovereignty of our countries. Also, we can say that both countries consider traditional values as the foundation of national identity, and they require protection from external ideological influence, for example, from the West. The Russian approach is distinguished by greater centralization and doctrinal integrity, that was said by the previous team, and the bilateral cooperation demonstrates stable dynamics despite external restrictions. We use barter schemes, settlements in national currencies to reduce sanctional risks. Prospects depend on the institution of cooperation, the expansion of educational exchanges, and joint participation in alternative cultural platforms, for example, Kazan Forum or BRICS Plus. Here you can see the table that shows the part from the both countries. For example, the lead operational agency in Russia is Россотрудничество, while in Pakistan is the Pakistan National Council of Arts. Heritage organization, diplomatic organization that are in Russia focused on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, while in the Pakistan they use cultural diplomacy division. We also can see the language and education promotion, for example, Russian, Русский мир in Russia, and Higher Education Commission in Pakistan. Here you can see when the organization was founded. For example, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we took 1802. Here we can see the Pakistani side information. And here we can see how the relations between countries was developing through the previous 5 years, from the 2021 to 2026. And here the whole period of the Russian-Pakistani relations from the 100 years. I guess that's all.
Thank you so much for concluding your presentation in the limited time. And I would like to invite Dr. Adil Khan again for his valuable comment over your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Sundar. Great presentation. And again, the topic was the same: cultural diplomacy as a means of maintaining national sovereignty, comparative study of Russia and Pakistan in 21st century. And study like addresses very significant topic of cultural diplomacy, how it can be used as a strategic instrument. Uh, as I told earlier, that it was a great presentation, but the paper should also incorporate the growing role of, I believe, digital diplomacy, including like social media, artificial intelligence, and online information campaign, which have become central to contemporary cultural diplomacy between Russia and Pakistan. Additionally, acknowledging the limitation of cultural diplomacy, such as varying international perceptions, domestic governance challenges, and different level of effectiveness would provide a more balanced analysis. Finally, the conclusion could be strengthened with like a few practical policy recommendations, including greater investment in educational exchange, diaspora engagement, digital cultural initiative, and regional cultural cooperation. Overall, it was a very good presentation, and I congratulate the author and look forward to seeing this research further develop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adil Irfan, for your comments. Now proceeding to our last presentation of panel 1, and we have covered the trade, political aspect, then we covered the cultural diplomacy, now moving towards the media patriotism between Russia and Pakistan. And the topic is media patriotism in Russia and Pakistan, how influence are making national pride in the trend. The supervisor is Dr. Sikandar Ali from Federal Urdu University, Art, Science and Technology, Islamabad.
Hello.
Sir, I humbly request, please your team can continue.
Okay.
Hello,
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. And my team is present here. Miss Riva,
You
Miss
have only
Kainat.
7 minutes. Only 7 minutes.
Okay. So our two Kainat Muzammil, please present our research work. Hamza, Shehzad, Kainat, Riva, are you there? Riva Nawaz.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir, we are there.
Okay, Riva.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone. Respected Chairperson and Secretary. My name is Kainat Muzammil. On the behalf of Department of Mass Communication, we warmly welcome you all on this student research conference. It is an honor for us to present our research here, media patriotism in Russia and Pakistan, how influencers making national pride a trend. Before I begin, I would like to ask everyone a very simple question. What's on your mind when you hear the word patriotism? For many of us, it means love for our country, pride in our identity, but now digital media has redefined patriotism from reporting events to shaping nations. It is no longer expressed for national celebrations and speeches. Can social media actually shape public opinion regarding patriotism? So that's the question which became the foundation of our research. I will explain introduction very shortly. Social media has transformed the way people receive information. Now it allows ordinary people, journalists, and influencers communicate directly with millions of users. Now influencers do much more than reporting events. They shape public opinion, influence how people think. Wars are not only fought on borders, it also fought on screens. Basically, our research focuses on the phenomena that is called media patriotism, which means the content that promotes national identity. The main problem statement for our research is who actually shapes the media patriotism today, the media or the nation. Our research was guided by 3 important questions. How do audience respond to patriotic media? How do influencers construct patriotic narratives? Which communication strategies do they actually use? I hope you all have understood what our research is about. Now I would like to invite our second presenter, Riva Nawaz.
Hi everyone, my name is Hiva. Today I will present the theoretical framework, literature review and research methodology of our research. First, I will talk about the theoretical framework. For our research, we use two communication theories, agenda setting theory and the framing theory. So basically, agenda setting theory was developed by Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw in 1972. It helps us understand how the media highlight important national issues and brings them to people's attention. Then I talk about the framing theory was introduced by Irving Goffman in 1974 and later developed for media studies by Robert Entman in 1993. It helps us understand how the media present the same event or topic in different ways, which can influence people's thoughts and opinions. We selected these theories because they best explain our research topic. Since our research focuses on media patriotism and social media influencers, these theories provided the best foundation for understanding how media shapes public opinion and national pride. Now, I will talk about the literature review. Before starting our research, we studied different research papers, books, and journal articles related to our topic. Book we review Imagine Communities by Benedict Anderson, Panel Nationalism by Michael Billig, and Convergence Culture by Henry Jenkins, Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky, and Network Propaganda by Robert Farris and Hal Robert. Research topic will review media and national identity, patriotism in digital media, social media and public opinion, political communication on social media, digital nationalism, agenda setting in news media, framing of national events, audience engagement on YouTube and Facebook. Scholar we review. We also review the work of well-known scholars, Benedict Anderson, Michael Billig, Henry Jenkins, Clay Shirky, Noam Chomsky. Their work helps us understand the relationship between media, nationalism, and public opinion, and provided a strong background for our research. We also review recent studies from Pakistan and Russia so that we could compare both countries and better understand our topic. Now, I will explain the research methodology, how we did with our research. We use a mixed method approaches, which includes both qualitative and quantitative methods. We selected this method because it helped us study the topic from a different perspective and made our findings more reliable. We collected data from different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TV shows, data analysis. We analyze audience engagement, including views, likes, comments, shares. These all help us understand how journalists and social media influencers promote patriotism and how people respond to that content. This method gave us a better understanding of how media influences national pride in today's digital world. Thank you so much for your attention. I would now
You
like
have
to
only
invite
1 minute remaining.
present
You have
to
only
continue
1
the
minute
presentation.
remaining.
Hello everyone, thank you every one of us. Now I will present the most important part of our research finding. Instead of relying on assumption, we analyzed real engagement from leading Pakistani journalists and influencers like very well known Mansoor Ali Khan. His YouTube video, Don't Go War with Pakistan, received over 3.5 million views, more than 80,000 likes, and approximately 18 to 25,000 comments, around 60 to 75% of audience. Responses expressed. Similarly, in his video War is Not Over and False Flag Situation Room also attracted millions of views with constantly high periodic engagement. Hamid Mir's discussion on Pakistan media relations generated between 1.2 to 1.5 million views with approximately 60 to 70% of patriotic audience response. Javed Chaudhry, his newspaper columns and social media posts also reached hundreds of thousands of readers. His content generated thousands of shares and constantly high patriotic response, showing the written journalism remains influential in shaping public opinion. Key findings, we have gained almost 4 to 5 findings. First, digital influencers have become powerful opinion leaders. Second, emotional storytelling generates significantly high audience engagement. Third, during national crisis, people actively seek patriotic content. Fourth, social media has transformed patriotism into a participatory movement through likes, comments, and shares. Finally, while media patriotism strengthens national unity, it may also reduce exposure to diverse viewpoints. Although both Pakistan and Russia use media to strengthen national identity, their approaches differ. Pakistan relies on emotional storytelling, religion, and cultural identity, whereas Russia follows a more centralized, state-oriented communication model. Despite the difference, both countries demonstrate the remarkable power of media in shaping public opinion. To conclude, I will say our research demonstrates that patriotism has entered a new digital era. Today, influencers are no longer simply content creators; they are opinion leaders, storytellers, and powerful communicators who shape how millions of people perceive their nation. Media has evolved from informing society. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to invite Dr. Adil Irfan again for his valuable insight about your presentation. Sir, as we are behind time, I humbly request to please conclude in 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sundar. The title of the study is Media Patriotism in Russia and Pakistan, How Influence are Making National Pride a Trend. The study addresses an emerging and highly relevant dimension of digital communication, where social media platform and influencers play an increasingly central role in shaping public opinion, political discourse, and national identity in both domestic and international contexts. One of the key strengths of the paper is its recognition that patriotism is no longer shaped exclusively through traditional media institutions. Instead, digital platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter have enabled journalists and influencers to become powerful opinion leaders who actively construct and disseminate patriotic narrative. The paper effectively captures how engagement around national event reflects the growing influence of digital media in shaping public sentiment. The study is commendable for adopting a mixed method research approach by combining content analysis and with audience engagement indicators such as likes, shares, comments, and it is commendable. However, several areas require further strengthening. First, the comparative dimension between Russia and Pakistan, as suggested in the title, I believe it is not fully developed in the abstract. A clearer and more balanced comparison of digital influencers, media ecosystems, and state narrative in both countries would enhance analytical consistency. Secondly, the paper would benefit from greater methodological transparency, including details on sampling strategy, like coding framework, data collection period, and analytical techniques to improve reliability and academic rigor. And finally, the paper opens important avenues for future research, particularly regarding algorithmic influence, artificial intelligence, cross-national comparative studies of digital nationalism. Overall, this is a valuable contribution to media and communication studies with the stronger theoretical framing, clearer methodology, and a more developed comparative analysis. The study has a strong potential for academic and policy relevance. In the end, I would like to thank Dr. Sundar's CAPS, Federal Urdu University, and Financial University for inviting me and providing me an opportunity to listen this very, intellectual discussion and conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adil Irfan, for your valuable insight and your feedback. I'm sure all the presenter will get a really good paper out of your greatly observation. Now, as we are behind time, so without any further break, we will move to our panel second. And I hand over the floor to my colleague, Dr. Stephen, who will moderate the second panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sundas. So we go to the next panel, and I invite the group number 9 right now with supervisor of Dr. Taimur Khan, socioeconomic stability and regional development, assessing trade, energy, and connectivity initiatives. And for our discussion today, it's my colleague, dear colleague Alexander Lutsenko. He is from Science Po Lyon University from France. So he will discuss the topics after each presentation. Thank you. So do we have the group of dear Dr. Taimur Khan?
Yes, sir. First of all, we would like to thank our respected supervisor, Dr. Taimur Khan, for your continuous guidance, support, and valuable suggestions throughout this project. Our team members are Rafia Irfan, Imran Haider Shah, Muhammad Awais, Abdul Wajid, and Nimra Javed. Introduction and background. As you can see on the screen, that first of all, it is a great honor and privilege for our team to present our research at this international conference. My name is Fatima Faizi, and today, on behalf of my co-authors, I will be presenting a research entitled Socio-Economic Stability and Regional Development, Assessing Trade, Energy, and Connectivity Initiatives between Pakistan and Russia. This research explores how evolving Pakistan-Russia relations, particularly in areas of trade, energy, regional connectivity, and social cultural cooperation, contribute to sustainable development and regional stability in the changing geopolitical landscape of Eurasia. Without taking much of your time, let us begin our presentation. As I said, that you can see on the screen that introduction and background. Let me begin. Against this backdrop, Pakistan and Russia have gradually transformed their relationship from Cold War rivalry to partnership based on shared economic and strategic interest. During the Cold War, ideological differences and opposing alliances limited bilateral cooperation. However, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, both countries reassessed their foreign policies and began strengthening diplomatic engagement. Today, cooperation has expanded into trade, energy, infrastructure, development, regional connectivity, and collaboration within the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This transformation highlights the growing importance of economic diplomacy in promoting regional peace, stability, and sustainable development. Now, after you, Nimra, Irfan, Rafia Irfan, I would like to call Rafia.
Thank you, Fatma. Building upon the introduction, I will briefly discuss the research framework of our study, including the research question, objectives, methodology, and key areas of analysis. Sorry to mention, but some audio is on and it is very disturbing. Yeah, thank you. This slide presents the core framework of our research. Our study was guided by three research questions. First, how Pakistan-Russia economic and social cultural relations evolved from the Cold War period to the present. Second, how do trade, energy cooperation, and regional connectivity contribute to socio-economic stability and regional development? Third, what are the major challenges and future prospects for strengthening bilateral cooperation? The research was designed around three objectives: to examine the historical evolution of Pakistan-Russia relations, to analyze the role of trade, energy, and connectivity in promoting regional stability, to identify future opportunities and existing challenges in bilateral cooperation. Methodologically, we adopted a qualitative approach based on secondary sources, including academic literature, policy reports, government publications, and research articles. A key contribution of our study is a research gap. Most previous studies discuss trade, energy, or connectivity separately, whereas our research integrates all these dimensions into a single analytical framework. We also draw upon economic interdependence theory, which suggests that increasing economic cooperation creates mutual dependence and reduces incentives for conflict, therefore encouraging long-term regional stability. Moving briefly to the historical dimension, Pakistan and Soviet Union remained largely divided during the Cold War because of the opposing strategic alignments. After the dissolution of Soviet Union in 1991, relations gradually improved, and important milestones included the 2003 Moscow visit, Pakistan's SCO membership in 2017, and recent cooperation on energy and connectivity projects. The key point is that the relationship has evolved from ideological rivalry to pragmatic cooperation. Regarding trade, Pakistan mainly exports rice, textiles, leather products, and agricultural goods to Russia, while Russia exports fertilizers, machinery, steel, and industrial products to Pakistan. Although trade has increased in recent years, our research finds that its full potential remains unrealized because of banking constraints, logistic challenges, and limited transportation connectivity. The trade is growing, but there is still significant room for expansion. Energy cooperation represents one of the strongest areas of contemporary Pakistan-Russia relations. The most notable project is the Pakistan Stream Gas Pipeline, which aims to improve Pakistan's energy distribution network by transporting LNG from Karachi and Gwadar to major industrial centers. Our analysis shows that energy cooperation has the potential to enhance energy security, industrial growth, and long-term economic stability for both countries. In short, energy cooperation is becoming the strategic centerpiece of the partnership. Pakistan's geographical location gives it a unique advantage as a bridge connecting South Asia, Central Asia, and Eurasian region. Initiatives such as Shanghai Cooperation Organization, CPEC, and the International North-South Transport Corridor can strengthen trade routes and regional integration. Our research suggests that connectivity transforms geographically into economic opportunity. Finally, socio-cultural relations provide the human dimension of bilateral cooperation. Education exchanges, academic collaboration, scholarships, and digital communication are gradually improving mutual understanding between the two societies. Economic agreements may initiate cooperation, but people-to-people relations have sustained it over the long period. To conclude it, our analysis demonstrates that trade, energy cooperation, regional connectivity, and socio-cultural engagement are interconnected drivers of socio-economic stability. I now hand over the presentation to my teammate for remaining findings and policy recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the social evaluation and Pakistan-Russia cooperation. I will now present the major points for this recommendation and conclude our research. So, if we look at the challenges to regional development, while Pakistan and Russia have made significant progress in strengthening bilateral relations, our research identifies several challenges that continue to limit equal cooperation. First, the historical advances strategic perception. Although relations have improved, decades of mistrust can't disappear overnight. Second, geopolitical confrontation remains an important factor. Russia maintains close relations with India and seeks balanced relations with multiple global powers. Managing these relations requires careful international sanctions. Russia have affected financial transactions, investment, and the implication measures. Fourth, if we talk about the practical issues such as limited banking channel, transportation constraints, and inadequate logistics continue to slow trade system. Finally, regional security challenges, including instability in Afghanistan and terrorism, create uncertainty for connectivity initiatives. Despite these obstacles, both countries continue to demonstrate political commitment toward expanding cooperation, which reflects the long-term potential of this partnership. Now, after identifying this challenge, let us now examine what our research has found. Our analysis reveals that Pakistan-Russia relations have undergone a remarkable transformation. The first big finding has shifted from ideological during the Cold War to pragmatic cooperation driven by shared economic and strategic interests. The second is that the bilateral trade has increased steadily but is below its full potential due to financial and logistic constraints, because it's merely, I think, around 1.8 billion, so there is a huge potential there. Our third finding highlights the energy cooperation, particularly the Pakistan Stream gas pipeline offers one of the strongest opportunities for long-term collaboration because it supports Pakistan energy security while creating investment opportunity for Asia. The fourth finding is that the regional connectivity initiatives, including Mission Organization, CPEC, and the International North-South Transport Corridor, have the potential to enhance regional integration across Eurasia. One of the most important contributions of our research is that trade, energy, and connectivity should not be viewed separately. Instead, they are interconnected pillars that actively promote socio-economic stability and sustainable regional development. Based on these findings, our study proposes several practical policy recommendations. Propose 6 key policy recommendations. First, both countries should strengthen bilateral trade by improving banking mechanisms, simplifying procedures, and encouraging trade private participation. Second, priority should be given to accelerating major energy projects, especially the Pakistan Stream gas pipeline and cooperation in petroleum exploration. Third, investment in transport infrastructure should be expanded to improve regional connectivity between Pakistan, Malaysia, and Russia. Fourth, cooperation with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization should be enhanced through joint research, education, technology, and infrastructure development. Fifth, greater emphasis should be placed on economic exchanges, scholarship, tourism, and cultural diplomacy to strengthen people-to-people relations. Finally, regional cooperation on bounded borders should continue to ensure a stable environment for sustainable economic development. Finally, I would like to conclude our presentation by summarizing the results of our research. Demonstrates that Pakistan-Russia relations have entered a new phase of constructive engagement. Although challenges such as political competition, section, infrastructure limitation, and regional security concerns remain, the opportunity for cooperation are substantial. Trade, energy cooperation, regional connectivity, and socio-cultural engagement together provide a strong foundation for long-term socio-economic stability and sustainable regional development. Our research concludes that the continued political commitment, stronger economic diplomacy, and deeper regional cooperation, Pakistan and Russia can continue or contribute significantly to more connected, stable, and prosperous Eurasian region. Thank you very much for your kind attention. We welcome your valuable questions and comments. Thank you.
Thank you, dear students, and thank you to the work you have done. And thank you to Dr. Taimur Khan for supervising such a great job and presentation. So I give a couple of words to my colleague, Alexander Lutsenko, for further comments.
Dear colleagues, thank you for your presentations. Really very interesting subject, very interesting presentations. Although the presentation approaches and the topics are analyzed from slightly different perspectives, they converge, I find, on a common argument, both suggest that relations between Pakistan and Russia are moving away from ideological considerations towards a more pragmatic partnership that is driven by economic interests and regional cooperation. So the first presentation focused primarily on historical evolution of bilateral relations and highlighting the role of trade, energy cooperation, connectivity, and socio-cultural exchanges. The second presentation went one step further by proposing an integrated analytical model that links these dimensions to economic interdependence, mutual trust, regional integration, and socio-economic stability and sustainable development. Taken together, the two presentations provide a current narrative about the evolution of Pakistan-Russia relations and the opportunities that are created in the future world by changing geopolitical environment. At the same time, I would like to raise a few broader questions, maybe ask you. My first comment concerns the concept of pragmatic partnerships. Both presentations emphasize the transition from ideology to pragmatism, but I wonder whether this distinction is always so clear-cut. States rarely abandon geopolitical considerations entirely, and economic cooperation itself can be a geopolitical instrument. Therefore, it may be useful to explore not only how ideology has declined, but also how strategic interests are geopolitical competition continue to shape bilateral cooperation. And second, maybe a small comment about this. Both presentations identify trade and energy and connectivity as the main drivers of regional stability. However, the causal relations may not be entirely straightforward. Great economic interdependence can indeed foster cooperation, but it can also create new forms of dependence and vulnerability. I wonder under what conditions economic cooperation actually produces trust and stability, and under what conditions it may instead reinforce existing asymmetries. Thank you once again for your presentations.
Thank you, Dr. Alexander Lutsenko. I think that students might answer, but I propose to do it in a short way as we have time issues. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So, sir, I mean, yeah, straight to consider the ideological consideration, and they hardly, I mean, Russia is a civilizational federation, is a nation state. So, but I mean, given circumstance, so there are integration as well. So I believe Russia and Pakistan interest converge in Afghanistan as well. A peaceful Afghanistan would pave the way for greater regional connectivity. So in practical, they still have their ideological consideration, but given the changing geopolitical dynamics, especially in Afghanistan and basically in the Persian Gulf and Pakistan neighborhood and as well as in Russian neighborhood. That's why they are more focused towards having a more pragmatic relationship. Still, they have their relationship biological foundation, but given the geopolitical action taking place, they have the approach in their relationship.
Thank you a lot for your answer. So let's move further, and I invite the second group that is supervised by Dr. Ivan Petibratov from Financial University. It's group number 7. Artificial intelligence is a tool of propaganda and counter-propaganda, prospects and risks. So please welcome. the group number 7, Дарья Клеменова, Anastasia Kieva, Varvara Badeeva. Are you here? Do you hear me? Anastasia, your microphone is muted. No, it's still muted.
Let maybe me begin then. My name is Ivan Petibratov. Yeah, I'm the supervisor of this student research, and when Anastasia will be ready to connect with some audio, she will go on. So basically, what we have studied is how artificial intelligence as a technology can be used both for some propagandistic activities and for counter-propagandistic activities. What are some problems with it? Yeah, how can it negatively and positively affect the state's activities and its actions, and so on. So basically, we've analyzed artificial intelligence both as a weapon, something that can be used as a tool of some offensive measures against the enemies or some adversaries on the international arena, but also how can it be used to protect the ideological field of the state, of the country, in such a way that some foreign and harmful ideological constructs wouldn't hurt the state itself. And basically we've found out that in some regards, it is not just a two-dimensional situation where first and foremost, it's just something that is only harmful, or that is something that is only useful for the state. It is kind of both, depending on how it can be used. So basically the relevance, therefore, of this research stems from the fact that AI in politics is ubiquitous. It's used for more or less anything at all, from propaganda to data analysis to even combat operations, as we have seen in the Middle East. And our objective was to identify this dual nature of AI in diplomacy, which we will have successfully done publishing our research within Russian Federation on the same topic, where we explore these ideas broadly. But if we're talking in some basic terms, AI can be used as a weapon through the creation of different echo chambers, information bubbles, which allow you to influence humans' cognition, human psyche, and therefore affect how they perceive the reality. Also, AI can exploit cognitive biases of a person, by the anchoring effect. And therefore, when we combine these two features of AI, which are natural for the AI, creation of echo chambers and anchoring effect, we are getting a pretty alarming results. Basically creating convincing disinformation, which no longer requires the resources of the whole intelligence agency. But at the same time, it can be used for protection. Basically, we're here talking about the shift from just reaction to something from within to proactive defense, like some predictive analysis, which can be done by the usage of machine learning. But at the same time, it is just one piece of the whole puzzle, because there are other approaches like pre-bunking, or cognitive vaccination, when you're basically train audiences in advance to recognize the misinformation, some counter-propagandistic measures, and it can be used and can be achieved by the usage of AI. So basically, you can use AI to teach people how to mitigate these negative effects of the AI. And in Russia, we have lots of different instruments which allow us to do just that, like BrainGPT, MyTracker AI, and so on, some Sberbank AI development, and so on. And of course, there are lots of, and we've done this during in our research paper. Yeah, there are lots of real life examples. Yeah, of how it can be used. It's being used pretty broadly by the United States, for example, both for the offensive and for the defensive. Yeah, it is used in other countries, like it's used in Russian Federation, both again for propagandistic and counter-propagandistic measures. But because this thing is such a dual-edged sword, let's say so, yeah, because of that, of course, we have to understand that there is a problem. Yeah, there is a problem, which means that we have to somehow differentiate between what is, well, good, what is evil, what is useful, what is not, how can it be developed overall. And therefore, the main problem, of course, always is the attribution problem. Yeah, what is and who is the source of some message, of some information, how can it be determined. And again, in our research paper, we provide the idea of how can this stuff be attributed, and also how can the society of the state be protected from it. And one of the ideas that can be used is basically, finding such AI content and, providing some, information that it is an AI content to the broader society, so that they will, again, be able to differentiate between what is real and what is not, and also train themselves to understand it. So overall, the main conclusions of our research is that AI is ambivalent. Yeah, it acts simultaneously both as a weapon and as a shield. As a weapon, AI provides, automation of attacks on some societies, yeah, generation of personalized deepfakes, creating these echo chambers, exploitation of, human biases, basically, yeah, which are natural. And as a shield, it implements proactive defense, predictive analytics, pre-banking strategies, and, building just public immunity to disinformation. But because this stuff this stuff, is constantly in this process of evolution. Yeah, it changes pretty quickly. Because of that, of course, there are dangers of reduced human control in crisis situations, and so on and so on. And therefore, we have to, harmonize the international norms, preferably, yeah, to achieve these goals, introduce some technical standards, and also, try and achieve some strict preservation of the human factor in making critical decisions, which would help to mitigate negative effects as such. And again, yeah, we've published a research paper on this topic. We would like to explore it further with our Pakistani colleagues. And also, we've done some conferences, yeah, in Russian Federation, exploring, these ideas further. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, dear Itibaratov Ivan. Well, I think that that settles the topic. Thank you, Anastasia, for being in time here anyway, even though there are some technical problems that happens all the time. So I give some couple of minutes to Dr. Alexander Lutsenko for his further comments, and we will proceed with the next group.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much for this presentation. I think one of its main strengths is that it avoids presenting artificial intelligence as either inherently good or inherently bad. So that was your point. Instead, you show that AI is dual-use technology. The same tool can be used to spread propaganda and disinformation, and to strengthen resilience against them. So that's really, really important. I also appreciated your emphasis on the practical application of the artificial intelligence, the examples of predictive analysis, automated detection of disinformation, and you were speaking about media literacy instruments, all this illustrates that artificial intelligence is becoming an increasingly important actor in the information environment. At the same time, I think that this topic and your presentation, your paper, could benefit for a more precise conceptual distinction between the notions, the terms that you use: propaganda, disinformation, counter-propaganda. These concepts are often used interchangeably, but they refer to different communication strategies, and these might require different analytical approaches. So clarifying these concepts would make the overall argument and your presentation even stronger. And even the term, the notion of propaganda, how to understand it, do believe that there is some objective information, and propaganda like deforms that objective information. So maybe clarify what you mean by these terms. Overall, I think that the presentation it highlights very important questions for the contemporary international relations, and the artificial intelligence becomes more and more sophisticated, and the competition is no longer about producing information, but also about verifying its credibility and building trust in this new era of digital communication. So it's very promising paper. Thank you once again for your presentation.
Thank you a lot, Dr. Lutsenko, for your comments. So we move forward to the next group, the group number 8, supervised by Dr. Saima Azar, Climate Security and State Policy, Approaches to Climate Change, Comparative Analysis of Russia and Pakistan in 2015-2025. So I invite the group to present your findings. So do we have the group number 8, Climate Security, supervised by Saima Azar?
Thank you, sir. Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, I have a group. She started in a minute. Alishba Farooq will start the presentation. Yes, Alishba? Are you listening? Mujib, are you there in? Mujib, start your presentation. Just give me 1 minute, sir. Just give me 1 minute. Alishba, unmute your mic, then you will present your presentation. You are not audible. Mujib, you can present.
There is a hand raised by Alishba Farooq.
Maybe, yes.
You can say,
Mujib.
Alishba Farooq.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, just wait for a minute. So thank you so much, all of you, and sorry for this inconvenience. So first of all, this is our presentation topic, the climate security and state policy approaches to climate change, a comparative analysis of Russia and Pakistan from 2015 to 2025. So So here are the presentation agenda. We will go through from it, and next is the introduction of our presentation. So national security has expanded beyond military threats and territorial defense from last decade. So because due to climate change, climate change moved from an environmental ministry concern or just an environmental issue to become a national security issues for most of the developed and as well as the developing states. So if we compare both countries, so Russia and Pakistan differ on almost every variable. If we talk about the regime type, their economic size and structure, the climate exposure, and as well as the institutional capacity and expertise. So both countries are different. Russia is a vast territory, hydrocarbon dependence, Arctic strategic interest, and climate experience, while Pakistan is a high population density of 250 million people, agricultural dependence, around 40 million of its labor dependent on agriculture sector, and face direct flood, heat, and glacial exposure. So here is the research gap from our research. So previous research overlooked the role of political economy and structural positioning in explaining different in climate security policies beyond the climate vulnerability. So here are some literature review where we have discussed, where we have reviewed some literature of previous research and where some authors discussed environmental security and how climate change act as a threat multiplier. Also, Pakistan extensional vulnerability to climate change, which are driven by direct flood, heat waves, and glacial melting. And if we talk about the Russia, so their strategic and economic framing, how they look climate change, and divergent securitization strategy of both countries. So here are our research objectives. So first objective is to examine how Russia and Pakistan framing climate change into their national security policies. And second one is to analyze the role of institutional capacity and governance in implementing climate policy, and to assess the political economic structure and energy dependence shape and how energy dependence shape the climate policy actions in both states. And last, to critically analyze how geopolitical interest and international positioning influence both state engagement within the international climate governance. So here are our research questions. So how do both countries conceptualize climate change within their national security framework? What role do governance capacity and institutional coordination play in the implementation of climate policies in both countries? And how do political, economic structure and energy dependence influence state approaches to climate change framework in Pakistan and Russia? So in theoretical framework, we have used three theories. First one is securitization theory, and second one is human security framework of UNDP, which was established in 1994, and political economy perspectives. So research methodology, we have used qualitative comparative case study. So most different system design we have used and analyzed policy document, primary documents, thematic coding, and also we have done discourse analysis and then process tracing and cross case synthesis. So if we talk about the Russia strategic climate framing, so climate has a geopolitical variable for Russia, not as existential threat, because Arctic Sea ice retreat opened the northern sea route for Russia and unlocked previously inaccessible hydrocarbon reserves, because 50% of state budget of Russia revenue comes from fossil fuel only, and Russia export 70% of its hydrocarbon. And if we talk about the policy of Russia, so 2015 national security strategy mentioned climate only indirectly, and 2021 strategy elevated adaptation as a recognized category. So if we talk about the Russia domestic response and its institutional role, so it's a reactive and compartmentalized governance. So basically, Russia had the much resources, there much institutional capacity, and they have far more better technical expertise, but yet not to invest in the prevention adaptation at the scale it's not scientists recommended. So post 2022 sanction further reduced its external accountability and access to climate cooperation framework. So now talk about the Pakistan climate vulnerability. Yes. So Pakistan climate vulnerability in 2022 flood, around 33 million people affected and 8 million people were displaced. And if we talk about in terms of economic losses, so Pakistan faced $30 billion of economic loss and around 18 to 20% of its GDP decline. And also Global Climate Risk Index ranked Pakistan the fifth most climate vulnerable country worldwide. So Pakistan implementation gap and how climate change act as a threat multiplier in this country. So we have identified three implementation gaps. So first of all is fiscal budget domestic allocation, and second one is institutional gap, and third one is the political economy. In institutional 18th amendment involved environmental management to provinces, fragmented inter-provincial coordination among federal as well as between the provinces. So climate change act as a threat multiplier. So resource competition between the provinces create instability and unrest in some provinces of Pakistan, and some militant organization like TTP and BLA used the 2022 flood affected to expand its recruitment by providing them incentives and post-aid and relief. So here is the comparative summary. We have discussed 7 analytical dimensions, which are threat framing, referent object, policy orientation, how the both country institutional response, securitization driver, global positioning of both countries, and primary structural constraints. So I will not go in detail, but position is very clear. Russia approach is bottom up, while Pakistan approach is bottom down. Russia approach is bottom down and top down, and Pakistan approach is from bottom up, which is experienced by the direct flood and climate shocks. So here we will discuss the how both states securitize climate. So Pakistan has a bottom-up approach, as I have already discussed, which is driven by the lived experience of recurring disaster. Last year, Pakistan faced flood in 2025. In 2022, Pakistan also faced flood, and then Pakistan became a platform for international climate justice advocacy, which we have seen in Pakistan campaign in COP29, COP30. So while Russia has a top-down approach, which is driven by the strategic elite reframing around Arctic opportunity. So here we have from our research, we have discovered some key findings. So first of all is Pakistan has completed a shift from an environmental issue to a national security framing. It's driven by the...
Mujib, wait a minute and floor give to the Alishba. No, she's yes, her mic is working now.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Alishba.
Okay, so let me conclude and provide you key findings. To conclude, our study highlights 5 main findings. First, Pakistan has changed its approach to climate change. It is no longer seen as only an environmental issue, but only as a national security issue because of its increasing impact of climate disaster. Number second is Pakistan's climate vulnerability is a long-term problem, not a temporary one. This means that the responding only after disaster is not enough. The third point is Russia sees climate change differently. It views it as both a challenge and as a strategic opportunity, mainly because of its oil and gas resources and its interest in the Arctic. The fourth one is, although Pakistan and Russia have very different levels of resources, both countries rely more on crisis response than on long-term prevention. Finally,
Our research shows that political and economic factors are the key reasons why many climate commitments are not fully implemented. Making policies is not enough. Strong governance, long-term planning, and political commitment are also essential. Now come to the policy recommendation. It is based on our findings and we suggest 4 recommendations. First, government should give more importance to long-term climate prevention, not only disaster response. Planning should go beyond short political or election cycles. The second is institutional coordination should be improved in Pakistan. This means better cooperation between the federal and provisional governments, especially in water and watershed management. The third one is climate finance should be combined with governance reforms. Providing more funds alone is not enough. As Russia's case shown, even countries with enough resources may fail to take effective action if governance is weak. Finally, policymakers should use a combination of different approaches when designing climate security policies, bringing together securitization theory, the human security approach, and the political economy perspective can help create more effective and practical climate policies. Climate security will be determined not merely by changing environmental conditions, but by the political capacity of states to adapt their governance system to an increasingly uncertain climate future. Thank you very much for your attention. We should be glad to take your questions.
Thank you, dear students, Mujib and Alishba. And thank you, dear Saima Azar, for supervising such a good work. Thank you for being in time for 12 minutes. And I give the word to Alexander Lutsenko, Dr. Lutsenko.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much for this interesting presentation. I particularly appreciated the central argument of your study, so that climate policy cannot be explained solely by climate vulnerability. By comparing Russia and Pakistan, you show convincingly that political economy, institutional capacity, and geopolitical positioning shape how states frame climate security and implement climate policy. Another strength of your presentation is that your conclusions move beyond description. I find it particularly interesting that despite very different political and economic contexts, both countries, so Russia and Pakistan, tend to rely on crisis management rather than long-term prevention, although for different structural reasons. One point that could perhaps be developed further in your research is the relative weight of the different explanatory factors. Since political economy, institution, and geopolitics all appear to matter, it would be interesting to clarify which of them is the primary driver of policy divergence and which plays a more secondary role. Overall, it's a well-structured and theoretically grounded comparative study. So thank you once again for this brilliant presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Lutsenko. So I invite our last group that will be that group number 6, media patriotism in Russia and Pakistan, how influencers are making national pride a trend, presented by Veronika Rodina from the group that was supervised by me, Dr. Stepan Vasilenko from Financial University. So Veronika, you are welcome.
Good afternoon. I hope you can hear me. 1 second, I will turn the presentation.
Yes, we hear you well. Thank you.
So our topic today is patriotism in the media in Russia and Pakistan, how influencers turn national pride into trend. And of course, we will start with the relevance and object of our research. So there is no secret that digital media has become a key tool for shaping public opinion these days, and that's why we came out with the idea to analyze different channels in the digital area. The second crucial relevance lies in the fact that influencers and war correspondents are turning patriotism into some viral content because, well, their channels exceed millions of followers, and a comparative analysis of Russia and Pakistan reveals universal and nationally specific mechanisms of viral patriotism. So, talking about the object, our object is Telegram channels of Russian influencers and some of the other channels. And from the Pakistani side, it is mostly about YouTube channels. The subject is mechanisms of constructing patriotic discourse in digital media, and the goal is to identify and to compare the strategies for producing viral patriotism in Russia and Pakistan. So, as a tool, as a main tool, we used qualitative content analysis of Telegram and YouTube posts. So we took the period of from January to May 2025, and since like this period, we have analyzed all of the contents of different bloggers on Telegram platform. So from the Russian side, you can see that we have analyzed war correspondents and main influencers. And from Pakistani side, these are mostly YouTube bloggers. Talking about typology of influencers, so our research has highlighted that there are three types of influencers in Russia. Precisely, these are lifestyle influencers, educational patriotism influencers, and what we call the Eurasian type of influencers, or just storytelling. So the main things here are that, for instance, lifestyle influencers, they highlight the so-called strategy of silence, and this strategy lies in the fact that their content is neutral, but there are still indirect signals of loyalty through such activities as charity in favor of the military, or, for instance, an emphasis on family values. And here you can get acquainted with some examples of such bloggers. So, for instance, Ksenia Borodina is the type of lifestyle influencers in Russia. Moving towards educational patriotism, we have found the channels of Alexander Dugin and Ekaterina Mizulina. So you see how many followers these bloggers have. And their strategy is in intellectual legitimation. So you see that, for instance, special military operation is seen as a civilizational choice from the prospect of these influencers, and some of them protect the young people in Russia from the destructive Western influence. So here we are mostly talking about the content of Ekaterina Mizulina. And the last type is storytelling. Storytelling is about personal narratives from the front, and it is some kind of constructive criticism of individual officials from the position of we could do better. So it lies in the content of channel of Zakhar Prilepin in Telegram. Moving forward, we have also analyzed some war correspondents in Russia, and they have also quite a lot of followers on their channels. But we have found one similar, common thing to all of these war correspondents, and this thing is unconditional support for special military operation, and precisely for the goals of this special military operation as an existential war with the West. So criticism is directed only at performers and not as at strategic goals. So you see how many war correspondents we have analyzed, and you see different strategies that they use, but still there is one common thing to all of them. Talking about the Pakistani case, so we have not analyzed it really deeply because we are not acquainted with this environment, but we have tried to do this, but our colleagues from Pakistani side did it better. But still, we have also highlighted some key figures, and here you see mostly YouTube bloggers, some TikTok bloggers, people who have even more followers than the Russian ones. And we have conducted a comparative analysis between Russian and Pakistani side. So, for instance, for Russia, we took the main platform. It was Telegram, and for Pakistan, it was YouTube. Here also are some parameters such as state pressure, criticism of authorities, patriotism type, and audience. So you can also see how different it is. So, for instance, about state pressure, in Russia it is kind of direct, and in Pakistan it is indirect, mostly from military side. And we are coming towards conclusions of our research. So we have highlighted 4 main things. The first one is that influencers and military personnel from viral patriotism through 3 strategies that we have discussed. It is silence, intellectual legitimization, and glorification. The second conclusion is that war correspondents are not just reporters, but agents of the mobilization agenda. So special military operation is presented as an existential confrontation of civilizations from the side of Russian bloggers. The third conclusion is that Pakistani model is characterized by great post-colonial ambivalence. So it is cultural patriotism versus the state narrative. And the last one is that in both these countries, social networks do not reflect, but they actively construct patriotic sentiments, turning love for the motherland, as we called it, into a competitive field of meanings. So thank you for attention. We are ready to answer your questions if there are some.
Thank you a lot, Veronica, for your presentation and for being in time for us. I give the word to Dr. Alexander Lutsenko for a couple of minutes of comments. And we will switch to our closing ceremony.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this interesting presentation. So I really liked the comparative approach of your study. It's interesting to see how influencers build patriotic narratives in Russia and in Pakistan. I also admired the idea of 3 communication strategies: silence, intellectual legitimation, and glorification. This is a clear and useful way to describe different forms of online patriotism. Another strong point is that you show that influencers are not just repeating official message produced by the state. They also help to shape public opinion, reformulate this message. And one small point that could be explained a bit more, maybe, is the comparison itself. Since there are several points. Since Russia is mainly studied through Telegram, while Pakistan is studied through YouTube and TikTok, it would be useful to explain how much of the difference comes from the countries themselves and how much comes from the platforms and also from the format. So textual format and video format in case of YouTube and TikTok. The other difference is the situation. So Russia is conducting a special military operation, so it's military contexts, while Pakistan is in a different situation. So how this difference in the situation can impact the production of a patriotic strategic narrative. That's the other point. But overall, I think that it is a timely, interesting, and original study, because comparing with Pakistan, it's very interesting, and it shows how social media help create patriotic ideas, not just spread them. So thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alexander. Veronica, you can disconnect, as I know you have some issues in your case. Thank you once again for being here and present us the research paper. So we are moving to the closing ceremony with remarks and vote of thanks. Here, maybe Dr. Faisal Jawad, you can join me with it. I appreciate it a lot working in this research team, and I want to thank all the participants, all the supervisors. I want to thank a lot once again our Pakistani side with Dr. Faisal Jawad, with Dr. Sundas Kizar, Dr. Guleisha Bati, Dr. Saima Azar, and Dr. Taimur Khan for their persistence, for being here, for making the students work. What I've understood while working with the student, that's it's hard to be liberal. We need to be more like Stalinist, more dictatorship, authoritative, guiding them. It works much better. And we see here that finally Russian and Pakistan cultural, educational diplomacy works perfectly in our case, as we could manage, despite technical differences, despite time differences, and many other things. We have managed this project that lasted for 6 months, and I think the results speak for themselves. Everything was great, and the students and the supervisors and the organizers from the university, from IR-FUUAST University and Financial University, have done a great job to converge everything in time and position. So thank you once again, and I would like to give word to dear Faisal Jawad. Your microphone is muted. Unfortunately, still not audible. No, unfortunately, once again. So we see that Google Meet and Yandex Telemost, nothing works perfectly. Finally, so as maybe closing, what can we make? Like we have here in program virtual group photograph. Maybe if everyone could turn on their cameras.
Yes. Now I am audible?
Yes.
Yes,
Now
thank you so
you're
much.
audible.
So just I want to say a few words.
I have taken a lot of photos via screenshots.
Thank you
No
so
problem.
much. Thank you so much. Just I want to say a few words, and thank you so much, Dr. Daria from Financial University, Professor Stepan. We coordinated last 6 months, and we have done around online meeting between the supervisors and supervisor and students. They have a lot of meeting. They have done a lot of works, and this is our pilot project. Actually, this is the first ever pilot project. Hopefully, our next project will be in person, will be bigger one, and maybe I will visit in this year, and I would meet with Daria, and we will make another plan about same thing, same joint research program. Both sides students should get together and should organize something differently. But again, I want to say thanks, Dr. Sundars, and my other team, Dr. Skandar, Dr. Sepan, especially Gleb. Gleb, if you want to say some words, a few words, we have a 2-3 minutes, so we will welcome. So from my side, I am very thankful to students, supervisors, and other participants who joined this event for 3 hours. So thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, and the last thing I would like also to thank our Russian team, as I forgot it, dear Daria Sinina, who participated, dear Oleg Novikov, dear Veronika Usacheva, and dear Ivan Petibratov, our team of colleagues of Financial University. And another thanks is to dear Gleb Shubin, the cultural attaché in the embassy of Pakistan. So if you might say a couple of words, we will appreciate it a lot, dear Gleb.
Yes, so thank you. So it will be really brief. Thank you for your commitment, your work. There were some different concepts presented. For me, they seemed really interesting and, not obvious. Maybe I will still have some time to process this view, this concept. So thank you again to our Pakistani partners, to our Russian partners. So you make this possible, and I mean a large scale of our cultural and educational exchange is, of course, based on your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you so much, especially Mr. Stepan and all other colleagues.
Thank you, dear Sikandar. And what about the photo?
Yes, virtual photo. Yes,
how
everyone on your camera, and everyone can take a pictures, like a selfie, like a screenshot, and we can share with each. Yes, thank you so much, everyone, and we will meet and keep in touch. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.